Chapter 36, Monkey vs. Jade Hare, a battle for truth in the heavenly court. The Tang Priest and his disciples traveled for many days, braving the elements and relying on the kindness of strangers. One day, they found themselves before a towering mountain, a daunting obstacle that stirred fear in the heart of the Tang Priest. But Monkey, ever the confident and fearless, reassured his master that they were close to the land of the Buddha and that no evil could touch them there. As they continued their journey, they came across a grand monastery known as the Spread Gold Dhyana Monastery. It was a place of great beauty and tranquility, with green glazed tiles and a red wall that spoke of a history long forgotten. Inside the monastery, they were greeted by a monk of unworldly appearance, a man of great wisdom and calm. He welcomed them with open arms, offering them shelter and sustenance. The Tang Priest, ever the diplomat, introduced himself and his mission, and the monk responded with respect and honor. The next day, the travelers continued their journey, only to be confronted by a new challenge. The mountain they were crossing was home to centipede spirits, malevolent beings that terrorized travelers and made the passage nearly impossible. But the Tang Priest and his disciples were not deterred. They pressed on, their faith in the Buddha and their quest for enlightenment driving them forward. As they descended the mountain, they came upon a city of great splendor, the capital of a powerful kingdom. The city was a testament to the might and prosperity of the land, with its crouching tiger and coiled dragon design, its phoenix towers and unicorn halls. The Tang Priest and his disciples entered the city, their hearts filled with hope and anticipation. They were led to a government hostel where they were to spend the night. But their rest was short-lived, for the next day was to be a day of great importance. It was the birthday of the king's daughter, a day marked by celebration and the throwing of an embroidered ball to choose a husband for the princess. The Tang Priest, unaware of the significance of the day, found himself at the center of the festivities. As the princess cast her embroidered ball into the crowd, it struck the Tang Priest on the head, a sign that he was to be her chosen husband. The princess, a woman of great beauty and grace, declared her intention to marry the holy monk, and the king, though initially displeased, acquiesced to his daughter's wishes. The Tang Priest, however, was a man of principle and dedication. He refused the king's offer, explaining his mission to seek the scriptures and return to his homeland. But the king, now convinced that the union was fated, insisted that the marriage take place. The Tang Priest, finding himself in a predicament, requested that his disciples be summoned to the palace so that he could bid them farewell. Monkey, ever the loyal and resourceful, devised a plan to save his master from this unexpected marriage. He suggested that the Tang Priest agree to the marriage, but request that his disciples be present at the ceremony. Once there, Monkey would use his divine powers to reveal the true nature of the princess and save his master from a fate he did not desire. As the day of the wedding approached, the Tang Priest found himself in the palace, surrounded by the opulence and grandeur of the royal court. The king's daughter, a woman of great charm and wit, was by his side, but the Tang Priest's heart was heavy with the knowledge that his journey was in jeopardy. The story continues with the arrival of an official bearing invitations for a group of travelers. Among them was the legendary Monkey, a mischievous and powerful creature with a flair for adventure. Alongside him were his companions, Pig and Friar Sand, each with their own unique stories and abilities. The travelers were invited to the palace, and as they approached, the unit gate officer reported their arrival, and a summons was issued for them to enter. Upon their arrival, the travelers were met with a barrage of questions from the king's bodyguards, who were curious about their origins and the purpose of their journey. Monkey, ever the clever one, stepped forward and with a smile, approached the king. The bodyguards, however, were not so easily swayed and demanded that the travelers remain where they stood. Sanzang, the Tang Priest and the master of the group, stepped forward to address the king, urging his disciples to submit their replies. It was then that Monkey could not help but speak up, questioning the king's treatment of his master. The king, taken aback by Monkey's boldness, paled and hastily offered Sanzang a seat, a gesture of respect. With the formalities out of the way, the king inquired about the second disciple. Pig, with a flair for the dramatic, thrust out his snout and regaled the king with his life story. He spoke of his past life, his encounter with a true immortal, and his subsequent rise to the rank of Marshal Tianpeng. The tale continued with Pig's fall from grace at the peach banquet and his eventual exile to the mortal world, where he was reborn with the visage of a pig. The king, both terrified and fascinated by Pig's story, turned his attention to the third disciple, Friar Sand. With a calm demeanor, Friar Sand recounted his own tale, one of a mortal man who turned to the way to escape the cycle of reincarnation. He spoke of his travels, his encounters with immortals, and his appointment as curtain-lifting general. His story concluded with the unfortunate incident at the peach banquet that led to his exile and transformation into a fearsome killer. As the disciples shared their stories, the king was torn between delight and alarm. Delight that his daughter had found a living Buddha in Sanzang, and alarm at the presence of three formidable beings in his court. The chief astrologer then presented a memorial, declaring the 12th day of the month, the day of the water rat, as the perfect day for the wedding. As the night fell, the travelers retired to their rooms in the imperial garden. The moonlight cast a serene glow over the garden, and the silence was only broken by the distant sound of a flute. The next morning, the king continued with the preparations, ordering the protocol office to lay on a vegetarian banquet for the three disciples and arranging for a private meal for Sanzang and himself. The banquet was a grand affair, with music and dancing that seemed to rival the feasts of the immortals. The king, noticing Sanzang's appreciation for the poems adorning the golden screens, challenged him to compose matching verses. Sanzang, caught up in the moment, obliged and produced verses that delighted the king. The days of feasting and celebration continued, but as the 12th day approached, the princess expressed her concerns to her father. She had heard tales of the hideous appearances of Sanzang's disciples and feared their presence at the wedding. The king, eager to please his daughter, agreed to send the disciples away from the city before the nuptials. As the king prepared to issue the decree, Sanzang and his disciples had a quiet discussion about their predicament. Monkey, ever the resourceful one, assured his master that he would stay close by to protect him, even as the other disciples were sent away. As they were led out of the city, Monkey whispered a secret to Sanzang, promising to return for him. With the disciples gone, the king and Sanzang prepared for the wedding. The princess and her entourage were led to the Sunlight Palace, where they were to await the arrival of the royal son-in-law. The king, delighted with the arrangements, urged his daughter to proceed with the nuptial banquet. As the festivities began, Monkey, in the form of a bee, buzzed quietly around the palace, keeping a watchful eye on his master. He whispered words of comfort into Sanzang's ear, assuring him that he was not alone. The wedding was a grand affair, with the princess and Sanzang exchanging vows in the inner quarters of the palace. The king and his court celebrated the union, unaware of the true nature of the events unfolding before them. Unbeknownst to many, the clever Monkey, a disciple of the Tang Priest, was secretly observing the scene. He had perched himself on the Virokana mitre, using his magical light to survey the surroundings. The music filled the air as the ladies played their instruments, the notes of the scale ringing out in perfect harmony. The sight was delightful, a dance of flowers, each lady a vision of loveliness. Monkey, however, was not to be swayed by such spectacles. He was there for a purpose, and his sharp eyes soon noticed something amiss about the princess who emerged from the Jade Palace. Surrounded by queens and consorts, she greeted the king with cheers, but Monkey, ever the vigilant, spotted a hint of the demonic in her aura. With a quick crawl to the Tang Priest's ear, Monkey whispered the truth about the princess being an imposter. The Tang Priest, startled, sought a solution, but Monkey, impatient as ever, decided to take matters into his own hands. In a sudden transformation, he revealed his true form and, with a mighty roar, grabbed the princess. He accused her of deceit, of living a life of luxury and yet being driven by lust to corrupt the Tang Priest's purity. The scene that followed was one of chaos. The king was left speechless, the queens and consorts fell into a panic, and the palace beauties fled for their lives. It was as if a roaring wind had swept through the palace gardens, shaking the very blossoms and scattering the petals like brocade across the ground. The impostor princess, now exposed, broke free and fled to the shrine of the local deity in the palace garden. There, she retrieved a weapon, a short club shaped like the head of a trip hammer, and engaged Monkey in a fierce battle. The two of them, locked in combat, soared through the skies, their magic powers on full display. The fight was legendary, the clash of the gold-banded cudgel against the hammerhead club, a battle between one who sought the true scriptures and one who lingered for the love of rare flowers. As the battle raged on, the Tang Priest, supported by the king, reassured the terrified court that it was merely his disciples' magical powers at work. The fight continued, with the evil spirit and the great sage, Monkey, locked in a struggle that filled the skies and terrified the common people below. The consorts, realizing the truth, brought forth the princess's torn clothes and jewelry, confirming the evil spirit's deception. The fight took a turn when the evil spirit, cornered, transformed into a pure wind and fled towards the western gate of heaven. Monkey, in pursuit, called upon the heavenly gatekeepers to stop her. The heavenly king Locapala and the four great marshals, Pang, Lu, Go, and Bai, blocked her path, forcing her to turn back and continue the fight with Monkey. As the battle resumed, Monkey recognized the weapon in the evil spirit's hand. It was a drug-pounding pestle from the Moon Palace, an ancient and powerful artifact. The evil spirit revealed its origins, claiming it was older and more noble than Monkey's cudgel. The two continued their fight, a clash of immortal weapons, a battle that shook the heavens and earth. Monkey, enraged by the spirit's defiance, struck at her with his iron cudgel. The evil spirit retaliated with her pestle, and the fight became more ferocious. But as the rounds passed, the evil spirit weakened, and in a desperate move, she fainted and fled in a blaze of golden light towards a distant mountain. Monkey, determined not to lose her, chased after the golden light until they reached the mountain. The evil spirit, cornered, disappeared into a cave, but Monkey, fearing she might escape and harm the Tang Priest, returned to the capital to ensure his master's safety. The king, still clinging to the Tang Priest, sought answers. The Tang Priest assured him that once the false princess was captured, the real one would appear. The queens and consorts, relieved, begged Monkey to rescue their true princess. Monkey, ever the strategist, suggested the king move to the throne hall while he and his fellow disciples, Pig and Friar Sand, would guard the Tang Priest and deal with the demon. As the king and the Tang Priest were escorted to the throne hall, the city's officials watched in awe as Monkey, Pig, and Friar Sand arrived to protect their master. Monkey then set off to confront the evil spirit once more. He found the mountain where the evil spirit had fled and, with a spell, summoned the local deity and mountain god for questioning. They, in fear, revealed the mountain's name and the absence of evil spirits, but Monkey, unsatisfied, demanded they help him find the impostor. The gods led Monkey to the mountain's warrens, and it was there, at the top, that they found the entrance to a cave blocked by boulders. The evil spirit, hiding inside, sprang out at their approach, ready to fight. But Monkey was ready, his iron cudgel at the ready to parry her blows. As the fight continued, the evil spirit, in a desperate attempt to escape, was called upon by the Star Lord of the Moon. The Star Lord, accompanied by beauties and immortals, pleaded with Monkey to spare the Jade Hare, the true identity of the evil spirit. The Moon Lord explained the Jade Hare's history and her connection to the real princess, White Beauty, from the Moon Palace. Monkey, understanding the situation, agreed to spare the Jade Hare but requested the Moon Lord to help prove the truth to the king. The Moon Lord, with a command, made the Jade Hare revert to her true form, a creature with jade-colored fur and a body that could fly over mountains. With the Jade Hare's true form revealed, Monkey led the way back to the capital as the Moon Lord and his entourage followed. As they approached, the city's inhabitants set up altars, burning incense, and reciting the name of the Buddha in gratitude. The king, the Tang Priest, and the officials bowed to the sky, thanking the Moon Lord and his company. The Jade Hare, now in her true form, was taken back to the Moon Palace, and the city celebrated the resolution of the deception. The next day, the king, with the Tang Priest and his disciples, set out to retrieve the real princess, White Beauty, who had been locked away in the almsgiver's spread gold monastery, pretending to be mad. The journey was short, and upon arrival, the king and queen were reunited with their daughter. Their joyous tears and heartfelt embraces a testament to the power of family. The king, grateful for the help of the Tang Priest and his disciples, offered them a grand feast and gifts, but the holy travelers refused, choosing instead to continue their journey west. The king, understanding their determination, prepared a royal carriage for their departure and sent officials to escort them on their way. As the travelers left, the people of the city, filled with gratitude, kowtowed in farewell, their hearts heavy with the departure of the heroes who had saved their kingdom. Monkey, sensing their reluctance to part, used his magic to create a dark wind, shielding the travelers from the tearful goodbyes. If you want to know what happened afterwards, listen to the explanation in the next installment.